this note has to do with opening the door to the ritual room. So usually in plumbing, right, piping would go like this and like this. Here we have a garbage bag. These look like blood stains. I'm starting to believe the Bible. Hey, what's up, stoners, and welcome to a new video of Let's Overanalyze That 2004 Flash game from Argentina. And in this episode, we are exploring the storage room. If you have the hallway here, the storage room is off to the left. This first door is the kitchen, and this second door is the storage room. So this is the door right here. If you click on it, it says it's locked. So to enter this room, you need to collect the key that's in the cupboard over here with the Bible. So as you can see, it's a silver-ish key. I mean, I think I would understand why it's locked, right? It's not really the area. You don't want kids to play hide and seek in there and mess with things. So gameplay-wise, you find a key, and then you try out the different doors. The key doesn't belong to this door. I wonder which doors it works on. I don't think you can interact with the front door, and no. So this, yeah. Oh, what about the upstairs? The key. So this door as well, but it does belong to this. The key opened the door. I can't see anything. Where's the switch? So the key opened the door. I can't see anything. Where's the switch? Interesting. It triggered the text again. The text keeps triggering itself on some sort of timer. That's something I've never noticed. But I guess it's, you know, in case someone gets stuck here, you know, because this is a bit disorienting, because it seems like it's a black screen, but if you look very closely, maybe I can brighten it up. You can see it's actually the same image, but with the brightness or the exposure lowered. It doesn't seem like I can interact with anything. Clicking doesn't even trigger the text. I touched something here. Ah, okay. So do you always have to click it twice? So if I click once, I touch something here, I click twice, I get the light. This is like the main view of the storage room, or this is the view you get when you look into. So let's take this bit by bit. So on the right here, you have the water supply system on this wall over here. You can see there's some sort of box in the middle, and then there's pipes and valves. Here you get a better view. You see there's a lot more of these meters. So there's a meter and a valve, and a meter and a valve, and a meter and a valve. This looks like a puzzle, but it is not used. There's no. You can interact with it to the degree that you can click on the valves and it says I can't turn. And if you click on this thing in the middle, it says it's the water supply system. So I'm no plumber, but I believe water comes from pipes under the building. And then this water seems to go into the kitchen and to the upstairs. The pipes don't go towards the hallway or anything. I do wonder how, because there's also a sink there's a bathroom in the office. I wonder how the plumbing goes there. So usually in plumbing, right, they would put all the areas that need water. The areas that need water are, for example, the kitchen and the bathroom, the showers and the bathroom over here. And usually you would put those somewhat close together or above or below each other so that the plumbing is close to one another. Because in this case, the water seems to originate from here, and then there needs to be some sort of line. I got everything turned around actually, because these pipes, this wall is actually facing the stairs. Plumbing wise, it would have made more sense if this was mirrored, because this wall leads to the kitchen, this wall leads to the staircase. Piping would go like this, and then there's a sink here. There's just one sink in the kitchen. And then it would go straight ahead to the bathroom. Like, I'm not sure where the water exactly is heated. Usually you would have some sort of heating unit. I'm not sure where water is heated in this building. Like, I would assume like some sort of like kettle or something to be over here. That is something that is missing. So it is the water supply system, and I'm curious if maybe at some point we had to fix the water supply system so we get water in a bathroom in the office. The bathroom in the office, we need hot water so that we get the steam on the mirror, which leads us to the kitchen, right? What is interesting is that I believe in the kitchen, the sink is not working. It's out of water. And in the bathroom, there's two valves, right? And the valve for cold water is not working, while the valve for hot water is working. There's a couple of different things that could be going on in the case you only have hot water and not cold water. There could be some sort of issue where the hot water is mixing in with the cold water. I don't think that's exactly the case, because we know that this is piping hot water that turns into steam. So I don't think it's mixed with the cold water. I think that the cold water valve might be shut, which is either a valve in here or it could be a valve that's under the sink itself. But I do wonder if there is like a story reason the cold water is not working in this building. And if this water supply unit would have been used for that. So these seem to be copper pipes that have oxidized. That's a very nice detail, very beautiful. I made a video about how one of my theories on how this puzzle could have worked, because I assume that, based on a couple of things, that this has to do with opening the secret door to the secret room. And the reason I think that is because in the game files, there's only a handful of things in the game that are not used. And one of those things, I think, is this puzzle that is unused. And then there's an animation of this door opening in the game files that is unused. And then the last thing is this card. This card over here is also not used. And because of these symbols, these lines with circles, to me, these look like the pipes and the valves, or the pipes and the meters. And there is an arrow pointing down, an arrow pointing directly at this. That's why I am combining both these three elements that are currently unused in the game. They are in the game, but they are not. They seem to be. They don't have a conclusion. So by combining those three ideas, I think that this note is somehow used with this puzzle to open the ritual door, the door over here. Also, if we look at the game design in the rest of the game, there are two other puzzles where we get a clue found on a piece of paper, and then the puzzle in the same room that you have to solve. The first one is the time on the note and the clock, and the other is the code on the picture and the vault. And in both cases, the solution and the puzzle are in the same room, the main hall and in the office. So based on that game design, and knowing that the puzzles and the solutions are in the same rooms, in the same levels, I assume that this unused puzzle and this unused solution go hand in hand. So you can watch my video about that, but I think that it might be some sort of balancing puzzle. You have these meters over here and you have these meters over here. I think it would have been a classic point and click balancing game where you need to get these 4 meters to a certain level. On top of here, there is a symbol. This is the pentacle. So this again makes me believe that this note has to do with opening the door to the ritual room. What's also interesting to note is that in earlier versions of this game, it didn't show a pentacle, but it said the word refugio. So this is from an earlier version of the game, and here it says refugio, which is Spanish for refuge, or shelter, or safe space. But I don't think the intent was changed. I think both refugio and the pentacle refer to the same place, which is the secret room. What else do we... So let's look at what else we see in this room. So I think I see some brooms or gardening equipment. I assume that these are brooms and rakes and that sort of thing. Over here we have a handsaw, a hammer, some wires. This could be maybe like a wood shaver, and some other things like maybe a ruler or some sort of thing. It's hard to tell on maybe a cork board. Then over here we have a box. We have 3 shelves over here. 3 wooden planks, and then there is some sort of rag, a hammer, and something else. Here we have a garbage bag. It's not really clear what's in there, and then 2 boxes, and then on the top shelf there is a single box. And we can see that on the bottom shelf we have gloves. These look like gardening gloves. Then a cardboard box with just a map in it, a blueprint of the building, which we will get to later. We have nails. We have a hammer. Now on the wall back here, so it's hard to tell, but I don't think this is the wall, but I'm also not entirely sure what this is. Like a roll of something, like something that's rolled up. I think it might be the wallpaper. It might be a roll of wallpaper. These elements, the hammer, the brush, these are photoshopped in. These are not 3D models. The box is a 3D model, I assume. This was just photoshopped on top. When you click on these things, it says, I don't need that. So let's look at this jacket. I think it is a jacket. Like this looks like a sleeve. And then this, yeah, okay. As I was editing this video, if you look at the jacket over here, that looks like some sort of stain. And it looks kind of reddish, brownish, like dried blood. This looks, especially if you look up here, these look like blood stains. This is a jacket with blood stains hidden in a locked storage room. If these are blood stains, I don't know how they got there. Would it be possible for this to be Alexander Graves' pajamas and he wore these as he headed upstairs to check on Anamara, and he found her carved up in the bathtub? Or whose blood is this? This is a very crucial detail that cannot be overlooked. This is clearly a light-colored jacket of sorts. So what is this? We're moving on to the last thing, and that is this blueprint over here. The funny thing about the storage room is that it's the only area in the game that you can completely skip over, and you could still finish the game. There is nothing here except exposition, basically. The map has changed compared to the first version of the game. So in the first version of the game, the map looked like this. And the differences you can see is that the secret area is not darkened out, and that it's missing the office area here, as well as this dotted line with a door over here. Yeah, some of the windows also scooched around. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 windows here, and there used to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows. But in that early version of the game, with the old map, we only had 4 windows and upstairs on the exterior. It sort of implies that the map came before the outside was developed. But we also know from the update log on the website that the storage area was the last thing that was added to the game. It was, or that's not true, sorry. It was the second last thing added to the game. So in this image of the office, you note that I noticed that there's a plank here that is hanging, and it looks a bit strange, especially when it's next to an open window. And for a while I thought maybe someone escaped through this window and they displaced this little plank over here. But what made me rethink that, over here, seemingly you have the exact same thing happening, where the wooden plank is at an angle. So that makes me think that the displacement of this plank in the office might not be as intentional as we also see it here. I think that, along with, you know, all the cracks in the walls and just the griminess of this building, just sort of implies that this building has not been kept very well. You know what? I have a theory, or an idea, that supports the theory that this room is directly related to the ritual room, and that is that these tools could have been used to build the ritual room. Alexander Graves built this secret door. I think originally this didn't used to be a secret room, because we have to understand that this used to be a family home. Maybe these tools, the presence of these tools, tells us that there has been some construction around the house. The more I analyze, the more I'm starting to believe this room is where the pentacle is, that this note is the solution to this puzzle that opens that room, and that these tools were used to build that room, and that room was built by Alexander Graves because he knew he had some sort of intent to perform rituals in this mental asylum. That is my theory, and that is all I can conclude from the storage room over here. Basically, the storage room, it doesn't have a whole lot of purpose in the game, which is so interesting, and I wonder what its purpose was supposed to be. Somehow maybe related to opening an area that was sadly never finished, or who knows. So thank you again so much for watching, and please let me know any theories or ideas you have. Please let me know what you think, what your theories are, and if you want to get in touch or get in touch with other fans of this game, or learn more about this game, we have a Discord community that you can join right now. The link will be in the description. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.